this is a first-year writing requirement course, so it's writing intensive. Writing is generally an individualistic activity, and I had wanted, since it's a big part of the grade component, I wanted team writing to feature into the writing, to lock in the importance of the team-based approach into the biggest component of the grade. My mistake was I led with a team-authored introduction, and that because they had not received any feedback on writing that was involving a grade, they were extremely anxious to have their first grade be shared with their team. So the lesson I learned is I'm going to reverse the first two exercises. Their first writing assignment will be an individual writing assignment.
Okay.
They'll go through the process of looking at how they were graded, checking against the rubric, and then I think they'll be a little bit more confident that they can collaborate for the second assignment on a team graded introduction to their team portfolio.
Your thoughts about grading, assessment, you've talked, as we've been talking about different topics, but any final comments on what that process was like that you haven't already touched on?
I think the idea of having to share a grade with team members and having your grade potentially be anchored to potentially the work by the weakest member was hard for these students. Again, they're A+ students who are pre-meds. It's not enough for these students to make 98 out of 100. They want the 100. If there's 102 possible points, they want 102 points. Putting the team grades a little bit later, I think, will be a good correction. I think it's going to remain, particularly for this audience of students, it's going to remain tricky, but one of the things I put in my syllabus and that I talked to GSIs about, and I need to put into the screencast and maybe talk about even more in lecture, is that's what working in a team involves. It involves getting over that fear of surrendering a little bit of control over the final product, and also opening yourself up to the idea that maybe a member of your team is actually going to have a key insight down the road that you would never have got to on your own.